Just by your answer, sweetie, I can tell you go, this is classic. Yeah, right, whatever. Here's what is on your mind. I'm a big, arrogant, big mouth fucking asshole, right? And you want to destroy that any way you can.
I got another cool guest here, another longtime buddy, someone that's knows me well, and I wanted to bring on the show. Maybe we can recreate some of those great conversations we used to have. We used to smoke and chop it up. So I want to introduce everyone to my buddy Al.
What up, everybody?
Thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate you having me on, brother.
Thanks for coming on, bro. I was excited for this one too because this is one of those ones where it's like it's gonna be easy, you know.
Yeah.
We just chill and talk, and you've always been a guy I could look to for advice when it came to weed and shit like that. So we're definitely gonna get into some of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just try to provide the knowledge that I've gained over the years. Been 13 years in this industry, coming on October 24th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, you know, I've been doing it. I'm glad that I was able to make a career out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because growing up early in the industry, you know what I mean, doing it illegally was a way of life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it was the only way.
It was the only way of making the ends meet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as soon as it became legal, it became less of a hustle and more of a steady paycheck.
Damn, that's really cool. So you were right on the cusp of that, huh?
Yeah. Well, like I said, my dad was a cultivator in Southern California, and my brothers were just gangsters. So yeah, my sisters were gangsters. You know what I mean? So they were 20 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So some things were already set up before you even.
I was, like I said, I didn't know normal living because nobody lived normal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so your normal was already outside the box.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, on the fringe of society kind of shit.
Wasn't a sports kid, wasn't a video game kid. I was a cultivating kid.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of different rules, a lot of different upbringings. And, you know, my family, like my brother was in a neighborhood in Southeast LA, and my nephew's dad was the leader of that neighborhood, and my other brother was a money maker for that neighborhood, selling and cultivating.
Super integrated.
You know what I mean? Like nothing else. But it was fun because them being who they were gave me and my nephew like a free pass to do whatever.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're the younger generation.
Yeah,
by like 20 years.
Yeah, so if you dropped a couple names, like you were welcome into that neighborhood that you weren't welcome into.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And probably even more than welcome.
Yeah, no, I mean, like protected somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all your like, I went on vacation for a little bit in Southern California. They call it vacation,
right?
You know what I'm saying? If people know what I'm talking about.
Went to college for a while,
you know. And I was able to use my brother's pool to have a nice stay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool because, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be anyway. That's what family is anyway.
Yeah.
Just because it's in a different kind of situation, it's still, you know, your family should look out for you. So.
No, for sure. But nowadays, those motherfuckers are crazy. I haven't talked to them in like 9 years.
Yeah, but we're talking about the past, how you grew up. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what was your weed journey? You know, I remember when I met you and stuff, we met at work, you know, in the cannabis industry, and we used to trim together.
Yeah. And
we would go on break and shit, and you would, like, break down all kinds of old stories and shit that, you know, I used to love hearing, you know, because it was all about cannabis, but it's still, like you were saying, there's certain rules to it.
Yeah.
And there's like certain situations that went down, you know. So like, when did you start smoking?
Ooh,
were you a younger? Were you a younger cat?
Yeah, no, I think I was like, I know it was probably like around 12.
Okay,
around 12. So my father, he was a cultivator and he grew a lot of cannabis, but he never wanted me to medicate.
Okay.
His whole deal was, you could help me out, you could learn, but you ain't smoking till you graduate.
Okay,
so
that was one of the rules.
Yeah, so you know, he wanted me to at least be able to finish high school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I will be honest, being a long time smoker and a long time, you know, medicating.
Yeah,
my goals weren't the same goals as other kids, kids coming up. I never wanted to be the fucking doctor or the football player or whatever, you know.
Yeah, so your motivations and your like. Your energy was kind of aimed somewhere else.
It was focused in another direction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I was like, oh, you know, I'm not trying to be the movie star or the next rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, I wanted to be unknown.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I want to be low pro if possible.
Yeah, Yeah, because that's part of the deal too back then.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to be that guy that's shining. You know what I mean?
This is way before it was legal and rec and medical.
And you know, and you can rock all that cannabis gear and let it be known that I am a smoker and this is what I'm. Because I do remember one time in my early days when cannabis was still legal, one of my first visits over here to Arizona.
Yeah.
Coming over to visit my sister. My sister had been living in Scottsdale for about 20 years or so.
You're like, what's this place? Let's go see it. Yeah.
No, for sure. So I'm like flying out to AZ, gonna be going out there for a week. I'm like, I need weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way I'm gonna survive a whole week without cannabis.
Yeah.
So went and picked up a zip, and flying over, I was probably about like 16. Put a half ounce in each shoe sole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when jumped on my plane flight, and as you know, I'm going through carry on and all that. I'm a young kid trying to make it be known with my High Time magazines. That's still at the time you got High Time magazines. You know what I mean?
You're all advertising.
And I'm all advertising, and people were like, "Hey, you like cannabis? Or you?
What's that about?
Yeah. Well, why are you reading that? You know, and stuff like that." And then I learned early, like, yeah, man, if I'm trying to be transporting stuff, I really can't be putting, things out there like that.
Maybe I'll get a suit and tie next time. God damn. Yeah. That's pretty funny. That's a lesson learned, though.
Oh yeah.
But you made it through?
I made it through, and I do remember one regret I had was there was a really bad looking chick. She was a little blonde girl flying from LA to AZ on the same flight. Yeah. And she noticed me, and she started talking, and she was like, they came and they approached us, and they said, we have some people that need to make this flight. Like, if you're willing to take the L and sit to the side, we're gonna give you a round trip ticket, to go to AZ and them to Cali. And she's like, I'm down for that. Why don't we hang out, get a drink or whatever? And I'm like, I'm 16.
Oh, shit.
She's like, I'll get you a drink. I'm like, no problem. But I had the ounce in the suit. So I'm like, I can't miss my flight. I got to take this. I'm not willing to sit around the airport for another hour and a half.
Yeah, you get caught underage drinking and you got the nasty.
Yeah. So it was a setup for a bad situation.
Damn. But you were smart enough even at that age to go, the rules are the rules.
You got to get gone when you can.
Yeah, I got to keep it moving. That's super interesting, dude. So you were a young guy going through already the probably the deepest levels.
Oh yeah,
trying to bring the weed across state lines on a fucking plane.
Yeah, well, at that time, like, you never really think about what you're doing. You know what I mean? You kind of just run with it, and then especially being the younger guy in the older crowd, you're always looking for approval. Yeah. So you're always willing to do whatever is asked of you.
You're like, I got this shit.
Yeah. And that's one thing you learn, like, in the game early, is like a lot of people will take advantage of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they just ask you to do random shit or do some crazy shit. Just because they know that you're young and dumb. Yeah.
They know you're like the missile.
Yeah. They're just gonna, you know what I mean? They're like, this motherfucker get out at 18.
Yeah.
Nowadays you won't. They carry you on.
Yeah. That's true too, huh? They're like taking advantage of the little loopholes and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, gangsters though.
Like you said, you know what I mean? That's
how it goes.
Yeah. I always like to tell everybody our story, bro, about how we met. You know what I'm saying? How we're up for the same cannabis position.
Oh yeah, that is trippy, huh?
And They sent us to an interview in the park, and I knew when I seen you, I thought you were the dude interviewing me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then they interviewed both of us at the same time.
Yeah.
And then they had the nerve to tell us that we're up for the same position and that they were only going to hire one of us.
So weird, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
We're sitting at the same table together.
Yeah, because I remember when we finished the interview, I was like, you cool motherfucker.
Yeah, we were cool to each other.
Yeah, and you were like, well, good luck, bro. And I was like, well, good luck, brother. Hopefully one of us get it.
That is true. The energy was never like, fuck this guy. We're like, hey, man, that was weird, huh?
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, okay, well, I hope one of us get this job.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, they hired both of us.
They got both of us. Yeah, that was funny as fuck, dude. Yeah, I remember when I seen you got out. I was like, oh, this fool's earlier than me.
Yeah.
He beat me. I thought you were going to get it just because you're on point. I was like, oh, this fool's on point. Yeah. Damn, dude. That was a funny one,
It's one of my bad habits from my early hustling days. I always show up early everywhere just to see the scenario.
Yeah. Just to see if they're trying to get there early.
See what's going on. Like,
you said you were in one car, not two cars.
You know what I mean? Why is another car parked around the corner over there when it's a dead street?
That's smart.
And it kind of just panned out with life. Like, I'm always fucking way too early for everything.
But I mean, that's one of the rules that translates into every business. It's like if you're not early, you're late and shit like that.
Like my dad told me, you know, if you're not early, you know, don't show up.
Yeah, it wasn't if you're not early or late. He's like, don't even go there.
Yeah, he's like, man,
You piece of shit. Can't fucking rely on your ass.
You know,
that's funny, dude. Do you remember any of the weed strains back then? Like, what was weed like back then when you started? Your dad was a cultivator, so I'm sure you had some fire. Like,
yeah, no,
a couple different batches.
Yeah, no, for sure. Back then, everything was chronic. It was either chronic or Christmas bud. You know what I mean? And it was really nice and lime green. You know, and then we always used to get the Mexican brick press too, because like, you know, my brothers were from neighborhoods, so we had to push that major weight. Yeah. You know, but yeah, cultivating was different because nowadays everybody wants to do everything all holistically and naturally, and you know what I mean. Back in the days, it's like pump it full of nutrients, grow some badass fire, and then flush it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's a different school of thought.
Yeah. Now everybody's worried about testing and numbers, and which is cool. I mean,
which is good, but it's making them like grow scared.
Yeah.
Versus like there's techniques you could probably grow and still flush it and get good testing.
Yep.
But they're like timid now.
Yeah, because everything has to be labeled and what went into the plant and what went into the nutrients and what went into the feed and whatnot. So you know, you don't really see that danky dank that used to be back in the day. You know, back in the day, I could take a nug and stick it on the wall, fucking walk away, come back the next day, pull that nug back off, and still be tacky.
That's crazy. I mean? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And you think it's also like the push to be in a dispensary, probably the flower. Like if back in the day, the growers had time to cure it the way they wanted or whatever, right? Then,
yeah. Well, now it's like it's all demand. It's all demand. Everybody loves to smoke weed. Everybody loves to eat weed. Everybody loves you know, medicate with cannabis, and it's just the call's there. You know what I mean? That's why you see like the big runs, and you see like in a dispensary for a majority of the time. Oh, we have nothing but indica strains. Where's your sativas? Next month, when the next batch comes in, oh, we have nothing but sativa strains. Where's all your indica strains? Because they're it's the cultivation times and the way they're processing and running it.
Yeah, it's all trickling down this way.
You know?
Yeah, even like the trends, right? Like certain strains start trending.
Yeah.
And then you see that like start blending into every strain. It's like all the same thing after a while. Then
look at Runts, lemon cherry gelato. All day, every day. You know what I mean? I mean, people cross it up with everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is cool and fun, but it ends up like even in the short time I've been smoking, you know, not as long as you, but you find strains you like and then they go away.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I used to love smoking on whatever it was, and then it's gone, you know?
People talk about the classic strains, and I'm like, you are smoking classic strains. When you get wedding cake, that's a new age classic strain. You know,
oh, it's like a new legend.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like living legend.
It's like your Sensimilla or your Puerto Rican Gold or your Acapulco Gold, or you know what I mean? It's, when you smoke Jealousy, you're smoking Acapulco Gold, but it's our time era. This era of Acapulco Gold.
Yeah, that's kind of cool too, and it kind of makes weed even more special. It's like it's only when you were around that's what you got, and then back in the day they were lucky enough to smoke or unlucky enough, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean the genetics. I mean, it's so hard to find the genetics nowadays, and that's the great thing about the newer cultivation starting to take the tissue cultures and preserving those strains.
Oh, that's fire.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to come up with the next Girl Scout cookie or whatever they want to do and cross strain this and just looking to make that next dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is smart though. They should start preserving it some way and bring it back out.
100%.
That'd be fire, right?
You know what I mean? Because then you always get all the people like, where's the granddaddy perp? Where's the, you know what I mean? And all fact of the matter is, we could find the terpenes for it, but we can't find you the actual flower.
Yeah, that's pretty much gone.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's gone.
And it's kind of weird that we can find you the terpenes for it, but we can't find you the actual flower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nature's a bad motherfucker, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. It's like we try to recreate it best we can, but it's like it's hard to capture. You know, it keeps running away.
Everything's seasonal, and like I say, like it has to do with your environment. Like, what was it? I was at the dispensary the other day, and we had some dudes that came in from Hawaii, and they were talking about how easy it is to grow out there. They're like, "Oh, brother, we throw the seed in the ground, and it's fucking beautiful." I'm like, "Bro, I got you." You know what I mean? Because you're coming from Southern California. Like,
oh, that's true.
You know what I mean? Literally, like rolling joints. If I'm, had a couple seeds, I'm throwing them in my front yard, and within a week, I'm seeing clones. I mean, not clones, but babies pop up.
Yeah.
baby, my dad used to be like, "Hey man, do you want to keep those? Go, repot them, or if not,
do the
you
right
need
thing.
to take them out of the yard because you're putting our house on blast."
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's true because it's back then.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that part.
Yeah. So
It's like you gotta be very careful.
yeah, for sure. Even when medical came into play, and they supposedly gave you the right to cultivate, you know what I mean? You always had to be very cautious,
Because you still had the crossover. Like you had neighbors probably not liking it. You had
Neighbors,
city limit shit, all
people
kinds
trying
of
to
shit.
hop your fence, take your plants,
Take it, oh.
things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forget again. It's California.
yeah,
California. They're some bold motherfuckers over there.
Oh hell yeah, no, crazy motherfuckers.
They're bold. I'm gonna call them bold. Hey, respect. I gotta go.
I love you guys. I'm from South, so I know y'all wild.
He could say it. I'm gonna say
I know
bold.
y'all wild.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of the stuff in Oakland, the Northern Cal people too, and like you can't even go to other places in California. It's like damn motherfuckers. It's just such a big place. I think.
Yeah.
Such a busy place. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's just such a busy place. You're gonna get like every kind of person, like New York, like every. It's just so many people.
Yeah. And then California's always been split between Southern and Northern. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean. And all respects, Northern Cal.
Yeah,
I lived in Oaktown for a minute. I got family and cousins up there.
Yeah.
And beautiful weed.
Hey, to us, you guys are all the same. Like you guys are more similar than you guys. It's a difference between you guys. To us, it's like you guys are California. It's a beautiful place, but you gotta keep your head on a swivel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they have some good weed though.
Oh, great weed.
Yeah, the times I've been out there is like, man, I'm smoking pretty good.
Great weed, but I do not. Arizona's right up there with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have some great cultivations and some great products that are out there.
Yeah, like the technology's out, like you can go on YouTube and learn how to grow weed, right?
Yeah.
Different techniques. So, but still, it's something special to like if you're in California and the weed is just different, bro.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
I would just say the outdoor cultivation of California is where it lies. You know what I mean? Because the plants come in super dense. They come in super sticky and tacky, and that's just from the natural weather. There's no reenactment of the environment or anything like that. And like I said, for Arizona, with the weather that we have, our indoor cultivations do a killer job.
Yeah, because they're still fighting a lot of the factors.
The way the seasons fucking change over here, like from monsoon to the humidity to the dry heat.
Yeah, whether it's the heat or just the fucking monsoon knocking your building over.
Oh, for sure.
Right? It's like there is problems. Hats off to everyone growing weed.
All right. Keep cultivating, keep growing. Yeah, we need more.
We need to smoke it.
We need more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is like definitely a passion thing to grow weed because you run into some shit.
Because it's work.
Yeah,
you run into some shit. I love people that think it's like a simple idea. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, just grow 8 plants." Motherfucker, you grow 8 plants. You got to trim 8 plants.
Yeah.
You got to cure 8 plants.
You got to make sure the one that didn't come through doesn't fuck the rest of them up.
Yeah,
like 100%.
It's like even in your curing process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to watch shit, dude.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it at the end. That's the cool part about it.
Yeah.
You're fucking pulling your hair out, but at the end, you're like, look what I did.
It's medicine for all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing people like forget nowadays, especially since that recreational thing came in, is that we've been medicating for so long because it helps us with life. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't smoking weed just to smoke weed. Yeah. You know what I mean? I smoke weed because it keeps me just strangling that person on the street. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a mood stabilizer.
Yeah,
it's 100%. A lot of shit.
And just in general with functioning of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does help in a lot of like physiological ways too, not mentally, but just like if you have pains and stuff, having a good like what do you call it, entourage effect in your body of a lot of weed
100%.
Stuff, a lot of CBG and shit.
Bro, I got 3 slip discs in my lower back that I've lived with for like, I want to say about 14 years now.
Yeah.
And I've been recommended surgery a number of times, so many times, you know what I mean? But when I was one of my first dispensary jobs, working security and then actually bud tending, but as I was there, I would see a lot of patients come in with back surgery. And I would speak to them all the time because, you speak to your patients and you find that's how you get a lot of good information and a good...
Going both ways.
Like
they need your help, so they kind of have to tell you what's up. And you're like, oh, shit, me too. Like,
And I would explain to them, like, I got these 3 slip discs in my lower back and doctors say that they're calcified. That's why I'm in so much pain constantly. Would back surgery be a good idea for me? And every motherfucker I spoke to said no.
Yeah,
he said, I do not recommend it at all. You know what I mean?
The recovery is probably insane.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's when I just learned about strengthening my core and cutting weight, and that's when I got into martial arts and doing jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. So
yeah, for sure,
that helped me out with my pain. But on a regular basis, like if I don't smoke, my back feels tight.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to get into the martial arts or the stretch or whatever the stuff. It's like I'm not even gonna be able to get to that.
Yeah, because
if I can't smoke. Or
because the other pain relief option I have, you know what I mean, back in that day was like, hey, we're gonna give you Norcos. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna give you Vikes. Like, you know what I mean, and that just makes you feel horrible all in general. Yeah.
It's another thing to deal with.
Yeah.
Even if it's killing your back pain, maybe, but it's like another problem you have.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't have cannabis, you can function. You know what I mean? Your life is not going to end if you cannot get high for that day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when you're on opiates and all that, you kind of just shut down.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from a majority
you're going to get
of people.
sick. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. Let me get a lighter for this shit.
Yes, sir. Try some of these new cookies here. Yeah. Little edibles.
Hell yeah, you brought some edibles. This might be a first on the show. I've never taken an edible with anyone.
All right. I like to be well-rounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring some flour. I'm going to bring some edibles.
Let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
We got some...
People know me for the blunts, so... Oh, and we've done dabs on the show, I think, a couple times, but never edibles, so...
Yeah. Mario Dab Master. We used to drive into work at the cultivation, driving down the 17, doing dabs.
Another story. Yeah, we used to do some good dabs. That's one for me here. Yeah. What are these, 10 milligrams each?
10 milligrams each.
All right, we'll do 10.
Chocolate chip caramel.
We'll do them. Cheers, or...
There we go, brother. Cool. Moist.
It's good.
They kind of remind me of those store-bought cookies in the little red bag.
Mm-hmm. The chewy Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, the chewy Chips Ahoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
They're good. I like the taste too. They're not overpowering with either side. Like it's not all sweet or not all weed.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer the taste of cannabis in my edibles. I like to work with cannabis butter and stuff, but
I don't mind it. But I've had some where it's just this is just weed taste.
Yeah, overpowering, or it's like super spicy from the distillate. But,
and to me, that just translates like they didn't give a fuck about the recipe.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? I appreciate when it's something. I heard someone say their edible company was a candy first company. Mm-hmm. So like they're caring about the candy, made it first, and then they infused it.
Yeah. Ron. I think that's Ron. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were chocolate company first.
First, right? Yeah. It was like something like that. I'm like, that's a great idea because
then they're already coming in with the knowledge.
Well, they're gonna enjoy the product before it's the weed. Like,
yeah.
Like back in the alcohol business or whatever, you hear like it doesn't even taste like alcohol. It tastes just like grape juice, whatever. They try to make it, imitate like peanut butter and jelly shot or whatever.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So it's like you gotta mask it a little
cinnamon spice fireball. Yeah.
And that's not, if you make edibles at home, I don't care what they taste like. I'm gonna eat those.
Oh, for sure. I
mean, at home, I know they're gonna smack, so it's different. But
10 times stronger. I mean, here we have limitations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a diabetic, you know what I mean? I would appreciate more edibles that are savory instead of so sweet. You know what I mean? Because I can't smash like all 10 cookies at once.
Yeah.
Or one big one. But I will.
Yeah, I will fucking make sure my other medication's on point. Yeah.
But the way I've been medicating lately is I've been really on the cannabinoid game, lowering my THC levels and stuff, and just relying on more of like CBG, CBC, CBD. You know what I mean? And then that way, when I do medicate with some flower, it hits me a lot better.
Yeah, because it's like back in the day, all we thought was THC was going to solve everything.
Yeah.
But now I'm finding out you want some good sleep, you got to get.
Oh yeah, you use that CBN and all that stuff.
And they've got hella edibles out there now. Companies are doing like the 1+1.
Yeah, the ratios.
Yeah, the ratios.
And that's where I'm at. I'm at that ratio game right now. Even when it was my vapes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've been using this vape that has a THCV, which is an appetite suppressor, and it works really well.
You've been seeing some good shit coming out of that.
Yeah, well, they're starting to get more scientifical.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Like they're doing it on their end, so I'll try it. If they're putting it out.
Yeah, and then like I said, I don't want to be one of those guys that I just cap out on THC and I'm looking for like 110, percent fucking dabs and all this. I'm a flower guy. Like you're a flower guy.
Plus, you respect the whole idea of like it's a medicine.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna sit there and ignore the other 90% of the plant or whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like that's what I growing up. Like I said, it was a medicine to help people. You know what I mean? Like my dad grew that shit his whole life, and he grew it to help people.
Did he medicate a lot or no?
Constant.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a constant. My dad was like, he was like that hippie, Goodfellas type suave motherfucker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he was that guy shooting pool at the bar, getting fired from his job for selling weed. You know what I'm saying? So like
he's always up to something.
Yeah, he was a very personable person.
I like that.
Yeah, everybody knew who he was.
That's cool. I wonder what came first. Like, was he personable, or and then the weed started growing, or did he grow the weed and then he became the man? Because it's like once you got all the weeds, hey, get over it. You know what I mean? Especially back then, I can imagine a person that can control and handle that.
Yeah,
that guy's got a sharp mind, you know, and he can manage a lot.
Yeah. Well, I know rest in peace, Pops. But I know he grew up in El Paso, Texas. Yeah, right on that line where they call Little Juarez.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's seen some shit early.
Well, I know. So I think in the 60s, he was coming up in the 60s when he was like 16, and he was already tatted up. He already had tats on his knuckles and all this stuff. So about 16, he went to the army.
Damn.
Yeah, and he was stationed most of the time in Japan. So I know, hey, word to my Japan brother.
you know
I got family out there somewhere, bro.
Somewhere, I can feel it.
But
that's funny.
Yeah, as soon as he got back, straight into cultivating, and you know, my mom was a real straight-laced little Mexican lady, so she didn't know nothing about that, you know. And he kind of just did his thing and was a man around town, and
that's really
big
cool.
Party guy, you know.
That's really cool, though. That's a guy that had like a long adventure in life. You know, he went to the army and back, and
for
Japan
sure.
and back.
He died happy. He died with a joint in his hand and his girlfriend in his bed. So you know,
rest in peace to him, man.
You know,
he made a cool kid.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. Yeah, he was a cool guy.
Whatever he had trickled down to you, man. You've always been there for me for advice and stuff. And
oh yeah, you're my brother, man.
You know, there's some shit. You know, we won't talk about advice I went to you about. You know, it's like you always had an open door policy for me. You know, I could ask anything. Well, so, that's super valuable. I want to say that. You know, you're valuable to me in my life, and you know, I won't say every day, but definitely every week. There's not a week doesn't go by where we don't talk. So
for sure. You know,
that's the shit to me. That's the shit that matters to me. You know,
I don't have a lot of friends. I don't talk to a lot of people, but when I meet real ones, like you're gonna stay in my life.
Lock them in.
You know what I'm saying?
Lock them in. Yeah. I always tell people, like when I introduce you, I go, "This guy's been to every birthday party that I threw for my kids." So that's solid. Like he's never missed a birthday. We haven't thrown one in a while, but when they were younger and stuff, all the little kid shit, it's fucking. Al's gonna be there.
Yeah,
and he's gonna show up. So
Mario's always been solid, 100%.
That's big to me,
100%,
man. That's
brother.
cool.
Like I said, you call me on that day, you know, whatever you need, I'm always ready to ride.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Hey, Albert, I need you to go sock this motherfucker in the head," and I'll
just
be right
top,
there.
Just bonk him on the head. Just don't
point him out. Point him out. You know what I mean?
No, we don't do that kind of stuff.
Very discreetly.
We're family, man. We don't do that stuff.
Fathers already, man.
Yeah.
Grown. I'm reminded all the time.
Yeah, man. So that's one of the things I would come to you for advice, though, man. I have that in my notes. Like even the fatherhood thing, you know, I would ask you like, what's your thoughts on it and stuff, because there's a lot of stuff online you could look up, like what's being a dad, or if you talk to people in public or whatever, they'll give you like a standard answer, you know. But when you're just talking to another dad, like on some real shit, you know, we get down to the vulnerable shit. Like, hey, man, that's fucking hard, and you know, I wish I didn't have to be so tough on my kids sometimes. But you know, homework's homework. You know, we're talking about like these deeper things that sometimes it's hard to touch on with, like, if you're talking to a big group of people. It's like, listen, I can't get to this shit really because I'm gonna look crazy. So I've always confided in you in some fatherhood shit, though. But on the show, you know, that's kind of one of the topics I ask people, and people have asked me too, like, what's it like to be a dad, and like, what's it mean to you? Like, so what do you have? You got any thoughts on that?
Being a dad, first off, let me say, children are a blessing. They change your life, straight up, 100%. I never wanted to be a responsible person growing up in Southern California. Always hustling, running the game. Met my lady, and we had a kid, and that changed my life. Yeah. And as soon as I had my child, I'm like, okay, time to get rid of the Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? Time to get the family van.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? time to be responsible and keep a roof over somebody's head.
Yeah.
And it changes your perspective of things.
You find out all the shit that's real is like
100%, because
yeah.
you're caring for somebody that's defenseless,
complete innocence,
and teaching them and letting them learn and grow on their own way. Because one of my things of being a father is I never want to push my personality onto my child. The way I grew up is completely different from the way I want my son and my daughter to grow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't ever. So with me, I have a lot of issues from growing up in Southern California. Being a Southsider, being a Sureño, anytime I see dudes wearing red, it still pops into my head.
Like, I'm supposed to not like this motherfucker.
Yeah, like automatically, like, fuck you. You know what I mean? My son loves the color red. You know what I mean? And, I'm like, bro, like, you're just killing me. But you know what I mean?
How interesting, though, because even in little ways like that, people rebel against their parents. You don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah. No.
It's just, you know what I mean?
That's his vibe. You know what I mean? Funny. That's how he feels good. And I'm like, hey, bro, you don't want this blue shirt over here? You know what I mean?
Like, look how nice this one is. Deep royal blue.
I'm going to rock these red Nikes with them. I'm like, hey, man.
I love you.
Do your thing, son. You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, I leave my perspective.
But that's really cool that you make it stop. Like, okay, I'm going to stop it from getting all the way to him.
Yeah, no,
I'm going to end it right here. And that's some bullshit I grew up with. That's not his life.
Yeah. I'm not trying to, like, my brothers pressed a lot on me. You know what I mean? And, like, you got to be this way and you got to act this way and you got to be a certain way. I always tell everybody I never listen to nobody.
Like some macho shit?
In Southern California.
Some neighborhood shit.
Just in general, like macho shit, neighborhood shit, man shit. You know what I mean? And they always expect you to be a certain way and act a certain way. And you're only allowed to speak to certain people. And you're not allowed to associate with these people. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're like teaching you hate.
Yeah. Like these are the rules of the game.
Right.
But in general, the way I always looked at it is I sell weed. So I'm friendly with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to buy a dub? I got you.
Yeah.
I don't see color. I see green.
Yeah. You know I'm trying to make money. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in general, like you smoke weed, you're cool with me.
Yeah. That's the bridge.
You know what I mean? That's a common ground here. Yeah. We're starting somewhere, and you're already starting at my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's a good way to look at it.
You must be cool in some way if you already medicating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then later on in life, like you start to learn, like, wow. Yeah. That was a miss.
I got burned a couple times.
You know, like I probably shouldn't have put so much confidence in that direction. But
but that's like with everything. Yeah, you start with open heart and then work back from there. At least is okay. You know, like I was a cool motherfucker with you and you fucked it up.
You know what I'm saying?
What I mean? Like shut the water off.
You know, like I said, back to that whole. I was willing, and like I always tell everybody, I'm a motherfucker that's willing. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm willing to eat that punch for you. I'm willing to do this for you.
Like to a fault.
You know,
like even to a fault. Like I'm so willing for people.
Yeah.
I put myself last.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I've always been like in my career as what I have worked as security. You know what I mean? I've always been willing to take that punch for the person, willing to stop this person, willing to intervene.
It does take like a certain kind of person to go, hey, I'll be the guy.
I'll step in front.
Yeah, send me. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll step in front. You know what I mean? I'm not going to step behind somebody or go close that door. You know what I mean?
It's weird, too, because that's sometimes the only way to prevent things from not happening either.
Oh,
just someone stepping up will shut it all down. Yeah. But if no one steps up, then the bully keeps going or the aggressor will keep going.
It gets more aggressive.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it gets even more dangerous if no one puts a stop to it.
Yeah. And really all you got to do is just be polite. I've always just been polite and
let
firm.
Them know you're not moving. Yeah.
No. You know what I mean? It's firm and let them know like, hey, you're causing yourself a situation you don't want to deal with down the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like even if you win this fight, let's say, it's going to be so much trouble.
I understand that you're not having a great day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm willing to see your side of it, but just don't act the fool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're giving them so much. Right there.
And a lot of people don't understand that, and they want to act the fool until they get in trouble. And then later on down the line, they're like, fuck, man, now I got to go fucking classes, anger management, or do whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? When you could have just stepped back, took a breath, like, fuck, man. All right, I will pay that extra $2. I probably should have read that,
Yeah,
the deal was
bullshit,
different today, or you know what I'm saying? It's
whatever they're
petty
tripping about is so small.
over the super little petty stuff.
Yeah, and you're gonna have a big problem soon. Yeah, that's real shit.
Especially if you get snatched up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's big because that's something like we're talking about fatherhood. You could pass that down to your kid too.
Yeah.
Hey man, I can tell you these stories, these old fucking war stories, but still take the lesson. There's a thing called people talk about. It's like borrowed knowledge. Like you can still learn from someone else's mistakes.
Well,
someone else has done it first, like a YouTube tutorial, and then you learn.
Yeah, well, 100%. And I would say, as being a father, like be open with your kids. When you try to hide things from your kids, it makes it seem like you're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Like I explain about cannabis to my kids, and I let them know what edibles are and what not to touch, and dad medicates for a reason and things of that nature. Because I did deal with my son getting a little
curious,
not curious, but upset. It was weird.
Okay.
He got upset that I didn't have like a regular lifestyle, that I wasn't the regular dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's like, we had a confrontation, I would say maybe a couple months ago. And, I give my kids a lot of freedom and space. You know what I mean? You keep your grades up, you do well.
Boom.
But, hey, do your thing,
Solid,
bro.
yeah.
You can play video games. I mean, I'll allow you on the weekends to stay up to 2 and you can chat with your friends and whatnot. But when your shit starts lacking, then there's going to be some changes to the situation, just like any other family or household.
It's classic. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my son getting in his teens, he just turned 13. And
brutal.
This motherfucker's like 6'1". You know what I'm saying? So I got to remind myself all the time, because motherfucker looks like he's 17.
Yeah.
But he has the mind of a 13.
He's a kid, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So came in the other day and, my wife's like, he's playing video games and he's not supposed to. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, I'll go handle the situation.
Yeah, I got to say something now.
And I went in the room and I'm like, what's up, boy? Like, you on the game? And he's like,
trying to be cool still.
Yeah. Because I'm always I want to hear their side first. You know what I mean? Because my wife is very emotional too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you're trying to be like fair. If I have to drop the hammer, let me know everything.
Yeah, but I want to be down the middle and be like, oh, she just didn't get mad. Is she mad just because he's very disrespectful, or because he didn't hear her, or what's the case?
Yeah, it could have been some regular shit that blew up. Yeah.
So I went in the room and I'm like, what's up, boy? Like, you on the game and you're not supposed to be? And he's like, I'm watching YouTube, Dad. And I'm always real quick to be like, yeah, cool, YouTube, whatever. Because that's all kids watch nowadays is YouTube.
Yeah. It's not technically the game.
It's not technically the game. They're watching somebody game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. Didn't think nothing of it. Now, being the smart father that I am, everything that he runs is on Xbox. So in the corner, you can see the last app that they were on. Usually I can look in the corner and see the YouTube app. You know what I mean? I didn't see that shit this time. So I left the room, decided, he came out behind me, and I'm like, I didn't see the app on, so let me go grab that remote real quick and see if there's actually some gameplay. So I go in the room and I go to grab the remote, and then this kid comes in and grabs me by the wrist. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like,
whatever I want.
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Why is your fucking hand on my wrist? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's funny, bro.
And then it just kind of came out, and he was like, you know what, Dad? He's like, you think you can do whatever you want and just push everybody around? He's like, all you do is stand around and watch people buy weed all day. All you do is come home and smoke weed all day.
Oh shit.
He's all, you don't even do anything but smoke weed. I'm like, oh, let go of my fucking wrist. You know, I wrist this whole conversation. Why is your hand still on my wrist, bro? You know, like, and he's like,
oh my God.
Well, I'm just so mad at everybody, Dad. And I'm like, look, man, I get that.
I know you're having a bad day. You give him the same speech.
You know what I mean? Look, man, I get that. I understand. I said, you're a teenager, whatever. You want to play video games, cool. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I was your age once too. Different time, but same personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just flipped out, and he was like, well, you know what, Dad, I hate you, and I hate your job, and this and that. And I said, motherfucker, get your fucking hand off my wrist. So I pulled my hand away, and I said, this is all you care about, and this is the way you're going to be, treating your mom and disrespecting me, and this is the case. I mean, I don't want to whip your ass. My son's 13. I'm a grown man. I said,
He's 6'1".
Yeah. I said, but you put your hand on me like that again, I said, I'm going to pop your shoulder out.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? And as far as this Xbox is concerned, I picked it up and I smashed it over my knee. Which in regret, I regret, because it fucked up my account too. And I had about like $4,000 in Fortnite.
Oh, man.
And, Call of Duty, I had a bunch of shit too. So I lost that account.
That's so funny.
But
he shouldn't have grabbed your wrist.
Yeah. But
I'm on Dad's side.
And I didn't whip his ass. He just lost the Xbox.
You know what I think it is too? It's like a disconnect that he doesn't know who his dad is for real. He has a vision of who his dad is, right?
Yep.
But he don't know like my dad's
so he doesn't know Southern California dad.
Right. He don't know like my dad is not the one to grab his wrist. Like
he knows respectful, calm Arizona dad.
And it's a even like if you say you're the dad, like he said, you pushing around, you gotta come down on me, right? But it even shows that you show your family this other side of yourself, because I'm here to attest, there's nobody grabbing this dude's wrist in public. like a stranger, nobody's gonna grab his wrist and tell him what to do. So it's like really cool that you're like your family's even that comfortable.
Yeah.
He thinks like whatever, but it's like, bro,
you're Dad, I'll knock you out.
Like, you're pretty comfortable, bro.
I'm like, well, the funny thing is like the other day I was all blazed and I was laying on the couch, and dealing with a teenager is hard, man.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. Like in general, like I'm a very loving person. So like I want to be hugging my son and hugging my daughter and
what's up? Ooh,
like what's up? What's going down? How's your day, bro? Like let's chop it up. And
like, I wish it was like that always, but
yeah, you know what I mean. And now he's like real, like so. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, like I'm Dad. Like, what's up, Dad? Like, you know what I mean?
Give me
like,
something.
I'm not average Joe.
Yeah, give me something, man.
So I'm laying on the couch and I'm like, hey, come over here, bro. And he comes over to me, and I'm like, hey, give me a hug. And he don't want to come down to give me a hug. So I grab his arm and I do a little key lock, pull him down right on me,
Yeah.
Give me that hug. And then I get up, and motherfucker, he's been hitting the weights. So he tossed me. He hit me with a judo flip. Damn. And I said, hey. And then he was on me. And then I had to use a little technique on him.
Yeah.
Pull little jiu-jitsu tricks out of the key.
Because technique always wins over size.
You know what I'm saying? So he's pressing me. I put him in a lockdown and I sweep him. And I put my shoulder right into his chest. And I said, how you like that weight? I said, as soon as you want me to get off, just tap, brother. And he tapped. And I said, look. I said, you may be big. I said, but technique always wins over size.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
That's proof.
Yeah.
And just knowledge. Just like, okay, you're big, you're laying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do one of these. If I know the way to switch that way, you know what I mean? It's going to come into play.
Yep.
That's one thing I'll say about me. Always work in security. If I ever work security for you, I will never ever manhandle anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll treat everybody with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And if I got to pin you on the ground, I'll pin you on the ground, but I will never strike you.
Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen him show restraint to a guy that didn't deserve it.
Yeah. And that's one thing I always find funny about security guards I run into. And they're always like, oh, motherfucker comes in here, I'll knock that motherfucker out. I'll pull my gun real quick.
Bro.
I'm like, bro, why?
That's not your job.
Why?
You're supposed to keep the peace down. Whoa.
I'm more of a Craig, not a Day. You know
yeah, bro. The last thing you want is out of a security person is emotions, right?
Yeah.
You want them to go like, hey, here's the steps.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. You're out of here.
100%.
Like you stop the problem smoothest way possible. I don't want any more escalation of this shit.
And I always find that, like, I tell everybody, like I'm a people watcher, but I learned that growing up in Southern Cal and going to all these backyard boogies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go to the backyard boogies with neighborhoods, and there's like 300-400 gangsters. You know what I mean? And granted, everybody's having a good time,
but it's right there.
But you
it's
never know
edge,
when something's
right
popping
there,
off.
yes.
So I was always a guy.
It's almost you do know. It's towards the end of the party.
Yeah,
someone's gonna get mad. Like it's coming.
Too much drink.
Yeah, it's
too
coming,
much
bro.
Smoke. But I always let all the homies have a good time.
Yeah,
and then I'd be the guy in the corner just keeping
watching motherfuckers anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
You're like I had anxiety back then. Like I had undiagnosed fucking.
You know what I mean? We didn't have weed all the time.
Yeah, for real, right? Yeah, that's one of the things when you said that earlier, I was going to ask you. It made me want to put a pin in that. Do you see any similarities from the old weed game transfer to now? Because sometimes I want to say, man, it's not the same, but it still kind of translates. Like when you meet people that are good people, you still want to keep good relationships, and loyalty is still big to me, I think.
It all fluctuates. Like I said, this whole cultivation game, it's a marketplace now. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's always been a marketplace, but it was like before it was controlled by criminals, now it's controlled by criminals.
Like white collar
criminals, the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They put restrictions on everything. But
you miss the old ways? You miss the old days?
The old ways, like I could go.
They're a bit more dangerous.
In the old days, I could make $1,200 in a day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Because the marketplace is so flooded and fluctuated. You know what I mean? Anybody could find weed now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But back in the day, it was a rarity.
When weed was special.
You know what I mean? That's when people put the love and heart into it. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there's still cultivators out there that do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're usually, the garage guys or the, growing
Small
for their
batch.
own medication.
Yeah, I was going to say small batch. Like they know what they're doing, but it's like, it's not for the whole world.
Yeah, no.
You might not ever see that batch.
Yeah, and you're lucky if you meet that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck
yeah, I just came across one the other day. One of my coworkers, and he's a great cultivator, and he, you want people. It's not about money; it's about the love.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like when you're like, man, I want you to try my flower. You know what I'm saying? I want you. If this is gonna help you, here, take this eighth.
Yeah,
take this quarter.
To them, it's like, man, it's like I was growing it for you anyway. It's like perfect timing.
Yeah,
it's just ready. Yeah.
It's not like the big grows where like, oh, this is a yield, and this. I need to get a quarter pound out of this yield because I want to make this, because now I got to pay this employee. I got to pay that employee. I got to pay for these nutrients. I got to pay for these lights.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they just souped it up and now they need their money back.
Yeah. Before it's like, the way I used to look at it was like money in the bank. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. If you had weed.
Yeah. If you're cultivating, if you got a plant and you got your runs in row and circulation and whatnot, it's money in the bank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the next harvest is going to be, 4,200 or whatever you got. So I could sit back on that, So as a young hustler, that's where my mind.
That's how it worked. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's like how you were saying, it's like it was a rarity. So it's like having gold, It's the price was up.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean?
What years were this? I mean, maybe don't say years, huh?
Well,
there's a lot. So 90s. This was 90s?
90s.
Okay. 90s. So back in the 90s, weed prices were sweet.
Oh, yeah.
For people growing.
Oh, for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure. Like I said, somebody came in the dispensary the other day and they're like, 125 for a half ounce? And I'm like, bro, I used to pay 125 for a quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want quality, you want decent quantity.
And you used to pay that when you couldn't give this attitude. You couldn't have an attitude.
And this was your only choice.
Yeah, you couldn't walk in here and be like, what's
bam, here's that quarter, bro, 125.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
You don't want it? Have a good day.
Yeah.
You ain't finding it nowhere.
Don't call me again either.
Don't waste my time.
You're annoying, So that's why I think about that sometimes too. It's like the old ways versus the new ways. It's like people are fucking up the game, but
yeah,
it's like the reason we call it fucking up the game is because those rules should still apply. It doesn't feel right.
And it's funny too because like I remember when it was illegal, people were more open. You know what I mean? Like I could go to like the Norwalk swap meet and people would be smoking joints out there and they'd be like, "Yo, what are you smoking on?"
Oh, that's how you find each other.
You know what I mean? Like now everything's like you can't approach a person.
Well, because they don't even need you, huh? Like, I'm gonna go to the store.
Yeah, they're like, "What? Why are you bothering me, bro?
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking to me?" No, because maybe I have some fire in my pocket and I want to see what you're smoking on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is how you build bonds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not no more. That's
Yeah.
like, let me get my bag sealed, get to my crib, and fucking smoke in my room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
get your own jar.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's great about like Earl Fest and things of that. Like it brings us all together.
Yeah.
So we can recognize who we are and what we can do as a community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you like we were talking when I had Jim on the show. He was saying that same thing. He's like, you meet people from everywhere, like rich people, poor people, tall guy, short guy, lady. Everybody's here. You're like, oh shit, you smoke too? What the fuck?
Yeah, no, the businessman, from the straight laced businessman to the hood down the corner. You know what I mean?
See groups. You see like a bunch of people came and made it a thing. You see one guy by himself just trying to get some free shit. It's like
and we all get along.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We all get along. There's no issue.
Yeah, he was saying he's like, even if there's a big line for one of the tents, he's like, the thing you hear the most in line is "excuse me" and "I'm sorry."
Yeah, you start talking to the person right next to you, and you start smoking a blunt with them, and next thing you know, you meet a person that you might be having a session with.
Yeah, they're like, "Yo, I work over here." No shit, yeah, me too. Like, oh shit, you know so and so.
100%.
Like it's cool as fuck. Always, every time. I can't think of one time.
Yeah, I mean, we're all one big community once you kind of get into this industry, but just as a general public. You know what I mean? We're still all together.
Yeah.
You know.
There's still a lot of closet smokers too.
Oh, for sure.
They'll come out.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of newbies just learning the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't be shy. Ask someone.
Which is great. You know what I mean? Because this will help you. You got issues, we'll find a way to help you.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. Stoners are pretty helpful, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it even comes with like referrals of like strains or edibles or medications or how to dab or what to dab or you know what I mean? Like there's always, and that's what I love about terpenes and cannabinoids, and there's a way to solve your issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got to research and find it.
Yeah, we're in the early stages, but I was talking to one guy, he was saying maybe there in the future it'll be a thing where you go, hey, what's wrong? What do you thinking is wrong? And they just type in like, oh, you're gonna need like 3 to 1 of this. On this many days, like
when I already do it right here, brother.
You know what I mean? It'll be like a thing where we enough people like you've done it, and share your knowledge, write it down, and everyone can take advantage of it. 100%. Like in the future, that's coming. So maybe we can do our own part, start eating edibles, and let us know. Put it in the comments.
This man, how long have you been in the industry now, brother?
I want to say since 2018 or something like that.
So I mean, this is a man with knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like not just reading it up too. Like I've probably went down the rabbit hole on that thing already too. Whether it's like what's distillate, I mean I've already fucking dabbed it, tried it. I made my own edibles a couple times. What's flour about? I smoke a lot of flour, so I've tried them all. Probably the concentrates and shit too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tap in, like I said in the comments, and we'll answer. What about? Do you have any advice right now that you can put out there, like? For edibles, because I know there's some people around that still want to try edibles, and I think just maybe having the right dose is good.
My advice is, if you smoke, rely on the strains that you smoke, and with edibles nowadays, I want to say live is the way to go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with distillate, but it's like trying to bake a cake with only sugar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't bake a cake just with sugar. You need flour. You need baking soda.
Eggs, I think.
You need eggs. It goes on.
Yeah, you need ingredients.
And it's the same thing with medicating. You need your right terpene profile. You need the right cannabinoids that are going to suit you. And the right THC level. You know what I mean? And as soon as you get that dialed in, your life is going to be 100%.
Yeah. You'll start seeing some of the results you want back.
You
just see paranoia or whatever.
You see people. Well, that's even great because like a lot of people deal with issues with like paranoia when they get high and all that, and then we just discovered like CBG helps with that issue of the paranoia and starting from your stomach and anxiety and things of that nature.
So it calms down the other side where
what I mean?
It doesn't even get to where you start racing away in your mind.
Yeah, where you start or all these thoughts start. What if this happens and if that happens? If that. You're pretty much chill. You're enjoying it.
That's awesome. I think I know someone that can benefit from that. I might call them after this.
Yeah. Because like I said, like even my wife. So my wife has very high anxiety, especially since the last I believe, year or two, she's only been working as a babysitter. So she doesn't get out that much. So she doesn't socialize that much. So when she does get out, she builds that anxiety.
Yeah.
So I put her on a 3-to-1. It's a 5 milligram dose. I'm not going to mention any product names or nothing.
Yeah.
But
until they start sending checks,
till they start,
cutting checks, dude. That's all it's gonna take.
Sponsors.
Yeah, sponsors.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, so that's been working.
Yeah, so it's made her life 110.
So it's a small dose, but a mixed dose.
So it's a small dose, but it's a mixed ratio
1, yeah.
dose. It's a 3-to-1, 3% CBG, and then 1% THC, and the THC is basically just a carrier to help the cannabinoid activate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But man, like I said, if you have issues, I would suggest strongly looking into medicating with cannabis, because a lot of people look to other things, you know what I mean, and it just makes life harder.
Yeah. And cannabis is like one of the only ones that's not promising. Like, it's not like a miracle pill drug.
No,
it's just going to give you some help.
It's going to give you some relief.
Yeah, some relief. And if you dial it in even better, you can figure it out even better. But
yeah,
it's not going to fix everything. It's going to maybe help you get to where maybe you can start fixing the other problems on yourself, moving around a little more, something.
Use it on a discrete basis. Be a little bit more social, be a little bit nicer to a person.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
always find I always joke around and I'm like, fucking medicating with cannabis, bro, always keeps me from getting angry. You know what I mean? But sometimes I have those days when I just want to hold that anger.
Okay.
I want to hold that anger. Like, I don't want to be empathetic with the other person's issue. You know what I mean? Like, if my son fucked up, this motherfucker really fucked up, and I'll go blaze a bowl, and I'm like, well,
now you're a softie.
I understand why he did it.
Yeah.
I guess, it must be okay.
Let's work on it.
Yeah. Well, fuck, everybody fucks up.
Yeah.
But, and in some extent, I'm like, wow, this shit was just wrong.
You wish you could stay on that side of like, what's
wrong
is wrong.
So if I don't go smoke, I'm like, hey, you're wrong, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not seeing no other side of it.
Yeah. I've had that little mental game before too, where I'm already having a bad day. And then I go, okay, I'm going to go smoke and it's going to fix it.
Yeah.
I go, what a pussy you are. You're just going to go smoke it off. I'm like, oh man. But it's like a little mental game. It's like, why would you argue something that's going to make you feel, but because you're a fucking smart enough person, you're like, is this my crutch?
Yeah.
Is this something that's fucking me up?
Is this an argument that I really need to have?
Yeah.
Am I just angry out of my own?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, it gives you a wider perspective of things.
Yeah. Weed is so fucking cool.
Yeah. I would say like I said, the only thing that it did was being, smoking since I was like 13 or whatever. It took away my ambition. Like I said, I never wanted to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to be that
that
well-off guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The family man with a nice house and a decent car.
I'm good.
I don't need no fucking mansion.
Yeah.
Bills paid, a little money in the bank, good to go.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah.
I really like that though too, because there's enough people going crazy over trying to be the richest.
I was seeing that perspective the other day because I was like stuck in traffic, and I was blazing on the 17th.
Allegedly.
This
is a makeup story. We made this story up.
Yeah, but I was watching traffic and I'm staying in my lane, and my lane's creeping along. Going 15 to 20, 15 to 20.
Good enough
for me. And everybody's cutting to the right. But everybody knows that this lane is going to merge. If you've been on this freeway, this lane is going to merge within the next 2 to 3 miles.
Calm down, yeah.
But hey, you're gonna be that guy, cut to that right lane or left lane or whatever, drive up your 3 miles and jam everybody else up.
Yeah.
So you could get ahead of the game.
Thanks, man.
You know what I'm saying?
How much time did you really save? A minute?
You know what I'm saying? But that's how people get ahead in life, where they are. They're willing to step on those other people, jam up those other people, not care, and just be disrespectful and get and hey, that's what you got to do to get ahead. That's what you got to do. You know what I mean?
I guess.
But I stay in my lane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you notice that.
I stay in my lane.
You notice that from sitting in traffic. Like, look at all these people can't stay in their lane.
Man, I'm like, no. Oh fuck! This is another 10 minutes on me because look at this big rig fucking pulling up now.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you got to be like, "Hey, man, time to get out of that lane."
Yeah,
You
I
know
got
what I'm
this.
saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's even harder when you stray. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
then you map quest it and it fucking sends you on a 40-minute detour.
Yeah, it's some bullshit. Yeah,
But
I've noticed that too. It's like I used to be a real aggressive driver or whatever, mad about time.
yeah,
And then I started doing like the rideshare thing, you know, like where I drive people around for
Mm.
work, and you can't speed. So if you're stuck, you're just stuck. And it's like instead of me being mad, I have to pretend don't care about this, so they don't
yeah.
give
So
me a
they
bad
don't get
review.
overwhelmed.
Yeah. So I'm like, no, this is fine, right? How you been? It's like it trained me to like not give a fuck. But
Yeah.
I used to be like, why is this motherfucker?
Yeah.
I'm still like that though. You don't cut me off in traffic.
Yeah, straight up. Energy
I'm
carries over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck
Like-
that.
Like I tell everybody, I say when I'm coming to work, I'm driving 65. When I'm leaving work, I'm doing about 90.
Yeah,
on my way.
I want to go home. I love going home.
You know, I mean, that's the place to be. Yeah, you know, the days off, or I try to do the family thing as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I keep my circle tight.
Yeah.
You know.
Like you were saying, yeah. But yeah, man, the other thing I wanted to ask you about was MMA. I know you love MMA.
You know,
I know you love violence. That's what another thing we share.
Yeah, no, I love all contact sports.
Yeah.
In general, UFC, MMA
Yeah.
has been kind of hard for me lately.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, with the judges and whatnot. And,
for real.
Uh,
It has kind of been different, huh?
yeah, you know, early MMA was more about technique and you know, moving up the ranks and whatnot. And
Yeah, it made more sense as far as how they were doing it.
now you look at MMA kind of like, and it's funny that they coincide because they've got the same owners, but the WWE.
Ever since then, it's been,
You know, and some fights get W's when, you know, they probably shouldn't go that way.
Yep.
You know, so it's been kind of hard lately. But, you know, I love mixed martial arts.
What like you said, it was back in the day. Do you have like a favorite fighter? We've talked about that on the show. What's your favorite fighter?
Bas Rutan.
Boss Rutan, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the man. He's
Yeah.
the man. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
straight up.
Yeah, he's so legendary, but he's also like contemporary. He's always
Contemporary.
he's
and
on he's like up to date with everything. He's an announcer,
Yeah.
but he's also like a guy that was a legendary fucking fighter.
Very personable.
Yeah.
Very personable. And I believe that probably came from all his years of bouncing and working the bars and things of that.
Oh, is that his history too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Dude.
Yeah.
So he don't have any problem talking to people, fighting people.
No. Yeah.
He's a people person.
Yeah, he's a people person.
He'll
You
fight
know,
you. He'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in movies too. I like that he was in movies, and
Yeah.
he played himself, I think, but he fucking killed it.
Oh yeah. Very
Yeah.
very well rounded guy. But
Yeah.
great fighter. Knock motherfuckers out.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
highlights are cool too,
Yeah.
and he was like smart. Like he had different techniques and stuff. They talk about that all the time. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was doing palm strikes because he was allowed to and shit. It's
Yep,
like
yep.
different techniques.
In general, like it makes more sense the way he described it. Because I mean, as a puncher, if you're not really wrapped up and everything, you can damage your knuckles and break your knuckles, and, your
And that's like
fingers.
shortens your career, ends
Yeah,
the fight,
yeah.
all kinds of
You
shit.
know, people get killed with palm strikes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was fucking people up. There's a always famous highlight where someone's got him in a leg lock or something,
Mhm.
and he just fucking him up like this, like
yeah,
damn,
you know, tough dudes are always going to be tough dudes.
yeah.
You know,
That guy's going down in history too for
Yes,
being a
sir.
badass.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then shout out to Kane. You know,
Oh yeah,
peoples.
Cain Velasquez,
Yeah.
dude. That's true.
yeah,
He's always
he
a
was
good
a
shout
beast.
out, yeah.
and he still is a beast. You know?
Yeah, but like his run was fucking sick. Yeah, he has another guy with a bunch of good highlights too.
Yes, sir.
Fighting people fucking twice his size don't matter.
Nope.
He was in the heavyweight division,
Yeah.
so it's hard for you to say like, oh yeah, but if he would have fought so and so, like he fought everyone, and they were heavyweights, so
Yeah.
it's not like
Gas tank. Yeah, gas tank.
you know. So there's not much you could take from that guy. Like he was scary, he was terrifying.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love the early days of MMA. I love fighting now. You know what I mean? Like, there's some fighters out there that I find hilarious, like Sean Strickland and you know, guys of that nature, and they're great fighters as well.
Yeah,
You know, but
he's just always trying to be offensive and shit.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
well, like I
He's
said,
funny.
I grew up in Corona, California. I lived in Corona, California for a bit, and he used to train in that area. So when he was fighting Israel, I already knew he was going to win that fight because I knew the style of white dude he was.
Oh, it's wild over there.
Yeah, well, you know,
Like you gotta be pretty tough.
You gotta hold your ground like anybody else in Southern Cal. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say white,
But I'm saying you knew,
white,
right?
Mexican,
Right
whatever. You know what I mean? Like
when you heard that, you're like, oh, he can't.
I'm like, he's gonna win. You know what I mean?
He's tough as nails.
Yeah,
Like
I'm like seeing Izzy and seeing like gangsters on the street in Southern California. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I granted technique over, but a man with technique and will.
Yeah,
he's got the will.
Yeah, he can fight, and he's not scared of it. He's not going to be like starstruck.
Yeah, he's not going to freeze
yeah.
up. He's not going to worry about his past history.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He just sees an opponent, and he's going to get it.
Yeah, it's like fucking another day in the office from where he's from, kind of shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show too. When I had the guy from Never Good Enough, this guy, we talked about sometimes my wife and I will watch fights, and when the guys are coming to the ring, we'll just say like, "Who do you think's scared right now?" Because we've already heard them talk about like, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, he's a wrestler, he's a striker. We know everything. We know the lore. Yeah. We know he's mad at him and shit. Okay, but now they're walking to the ring, and sometimes you can see a person kind of like not want to do it.
Oh yeah,
you
there's nerves all the time, bro. Yeah,
and some guys are good at hiding it. You know, and they'll tell the announcer after, "I was really worried about him. I was scared, but I held it down." But sometimes we'll call it. We'll be like, "That guy looks."
Oh yeah, you can see it in their eyes. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And I was saying too. Sometimes it's like you're saying, like I don't know where this guy's from, but maybe I'm just scared of dudes like from over there. Yeah. I'm scared of Irish dudes, man. Yeah. And then they bring an Irish guy or they bring an African guy.
Or they're super loud with their personality.
Yeah,
super aggressive, and they're like I'm like, what's all that noise for, bro? Like,
we already know we're gonna fight.
You know what I mean? And it's a sanctioned competition. You know what I mean? Like, do you really have to talk about my family?
Oh, that's
true. Do you have to be disrespectful?
That's true. There's like we went through a commission and all that. So why are you bringing gangster shit for? That's not what
we're here for.
We would have never went to the commission if we were gangsters for.
You know what I'm saying?
Seen you on the way.
I'd be yelling out Stockton. Like, you know what I mean?
Those guys are pretty scary though.
You know.
The Stockton guys, they seem down. They seem down.
Oh, that's the thing is they got heart.
Yeah, they seem down the most.
They'll chuck them. I mean, that's the thing about
I like that. I like
anybody with heart, respect.
Yeah, respect. I know they're from the wrong part of town. So what about? I pulled up this card. I know because neither am I. I'm not like very up to date with everything going on in
I hear
MMA, UFC for sure. But
yeah,
I pulled this up. This says September 7th, Saturday, September 7th, main card UFC Fight Night, and then the headline is Burns versus Brady. So let's go down here and see who's fighting, see if we see anybody. You know what we could do? Maybe we'll do our picks.
Word.
You know what I mean? And then like we'll fucking watch the card later and see how it played out, dude. These guys down here, Nathan Fletcher versus Zigamontes Ramasca.
Yeah.
Never heard of these guys.
Yeah, see the thing about it is like there's so many new fighters in the game, and they're all up and comers, and you know what I mean. And
if we don't know these guys, we'll just go, hey, you're picking Lithuania or England.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll pick this guy.
You said Lithuania, right?
Yeah, this guy's from Lithuania. That seems like a more starvation place.
Yeah, I'm more of like, is he a striker? Does he have a ground game?
Okay, you're gonna really be technical. I'm like, nah, this guy.
You're like,
this guy looks like he's hungry.
Your head off.
Yeah, he looks hungry, man. 5 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission. That's well rounded.
Yeah, that's what you know what I mean.
Let's see this guy. Oh, it opens it up if you do like that. Oh shit.
Okay. Yeah, Lithuania looks like they're pretty well rounded and ready to rock.
Yeah, we'll pick that guy.
Yeah.
Now let's see if there's any fighters we know. We got Andre. I don't know these guys.
Yeah, like I said, these undercards. I mean, and I just love fighting. I mean, I
trust me. I watch all these guys.
You don't have to be a name.
Yeah. Owen St. Preux.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Spann. I don't know.
Well, there's a veteran versus a rookie there?
Ryan Spann. This guy looks pretty legit too.
Yeah. Well, he's been
around. He's got a good record here. 21-10.
Well, I'm gonna say new to the UFC.
Oh, might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that guy.
Because I know
who's up here. Whoa, my computer's fucking up. Let's see. Okay, let's just go to the
main card. Top.
Kyle Nelson. That guy's pretty fucking legit. Let's see. Matt Schnell. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I think he lost like 2 in a row. Matt
Costa.
Schnell.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. I don't know this shorty.
Yeah, and I mean, Andrade has a pretty strong game.
Yeah, she's legit. Know. She's ground game. She
was known for spiking Thug Rose.
Yeah, she did. She did pick her up and drop her.
Sometimes you gotta let go of that lock.
That's true. We learned that a long time ago from fucking Rampage.
You just gotta know when it's time to transition and move. But
how cool would it be to choke a person while you're on top of them like that? Like when they're holding you up and they just fucking pass out.
Yep.
All right,
Standing guillotine.
Gilbert Burns, Sean Brady. Who do you got?
So I know Burns has dropped the last couple, so he needs to win this one. I know Sean Brady. He lost. I believe he lost like his last one or the one before
this
that.
Fucking legit too.
He's a stand-up guy, and I know. Me personally, I would like Burns to go back to his jiu-jitsu a little bit more.
It's super strong.
You know what I mean? But he's been standing up and he likes to trade lately, so it should be a good stand-up fight. You know, and then like I said, with stand-up fights, it's hard to go if guys are both going to be striking because everybody always has a puncher's chance. You know what I mean? You get caught on the chin or you get caught the wrong way and you go sleep for a minute, you know?
You know what I want to ask you? Yeah, that's legit too. Mm-hmm. You know what I want to ask you? So I watch battle raps a lot too, right? Like rappers just rapping, but
100%.
These guys, I guess, are gonna start boxing.
Okay.
So they're rappers, and I think they're gonna fight. And I just found out about this.
Yeah.
So I want you to look at these guys. I think this might be the trailer. What do you? I don't think either one of these guys can fight. I don't think.
I think it probably boils down to their fan bases. You know what I'm saying?
Are these guys gonna fight though? I want you to see their boxing technique and see what you think. I think they're gonna box, dude, and I'm worried for them. Where did I see that trailer, man?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be.
It's just two guys that aren't fighters, and they're gonna.
Who
fight.
is it? That jiu-jitsu guy and that YouTube guy that had that boxing match, and that shit was all bad.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like that, dude.
Yeah.
Is this it? Let me see. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, he's showing the power on his punch right there.
Is that what this is? Let me see. Make sure it's that's one of the guys. That's one of the guys.
I hope they got like a couple months to train.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So far, it's looking bad, right? Yeah. I think there's a spot where he does pad work. Let me see. These guys are just built bad, man.
Yeah. I think he needs to go to his
what are you thinking here?
To his notebook. A little bit more.
Maybe keep rapping?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Come with some stronger bars. You know what I mean? Don't take it so personal.
Dude. I wish I had the other stuff ready. I just thought of it, but when I found this out, I was like, wait a minute, dude.
You're like, hey.
I don't know if everyone should be jumping in the ring.
You know, everybody thinks that's the way that we make money now. I mean, with the Jake Paul situation. You know what I mean? And he's doing it right, so you can't hate on him.
Yeah, right. It's like, hey, let me try.
Yeah. And I mean, in general, like, knocking out the bare knuckle champ recently?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it gives him more weight, more pull to his...
Yeah, which fight did you think he was legit?
The one he lost.
The one Fury's?
Yeah, Fury's younger brother. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, in all reality, like everybody says, he's the only actual boxer that he's fought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And somebody that's in his age
range,
equivalency, you know what I mean? And, I mean, you want to fight retired dudes that, you know what I mean, they still in good shape and training for a bit. You know
but they were never strikers, a lot of the guys. I mean, Anderson Silva was, though.
He was, but Muay Thai is a lot different from boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're already...
You can sneak a kick in there, and the game's different now.
It's just completely thrown off, and you have a whole different idea of what you have to worry about. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when you get into Thai kickboxing, the knees and the elbow. No, my son loves basketball. He's a baller. That's where his heart lies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
he's tall.
Yeah, and he gets out there and he grinds and he practices every day. So that's why he's on his school team and he's a starter.
Keep going, motherfucker.
You know, and like I said, that's why I enjoy when he's in his basketball season because he's a perfect kid then. Yeah. His grades stay up. He's respectful. You know what I'm saying? Everything's on point. You know, because he's happy because he's doing what he loves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I try to get him into. He wants to do boxing, which I'm, 100% happy about. I try to get him into jiu-jitsu. I trained for a bit.
Yeah.
I didn't get him into the right academy where he kind of got bullied around, so it kind of turned him off to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was able to pick up a couple self-defense moves that helped him out. You know?
Some shit's going to stick.
Even
if the coach is weird.
If you go there long enough, you're going to learn something.
Fuck yeah. It's important, dude.
Yeah, I was just always, because he was very enthusiastic about learning it and training and whatnot, and then I didn't research my my camps right. I would always research your school you go to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because you want people that are going to respect their students and treat them the best.
Yeah, they're not just fucking trying to.
They're not just using them as training dummies and techniques, and tossing little kids around.
It's dangerous, man. There's someone that I think they got injured or they died or something because their coach was like fake black belt or some shit.
Yeah, and granted, you might not even be a fake black belt. You might be a brown belt, rolling with a blue belt, and you want to just show technique. So just remember that gentleman does not have the knowledge that you have.
He's just letting you do stuff.
Go ahead. Like the last time I rolled with a degreed brown belt, dude had me cradled up like a baby.
Yeah.
And I knew if I go left, he's going to mount me. If I go right, he's going to armbar me. So in my mindset, I'm like, hey, bro, what would be your suggestion? We're training here. We're rolling.
Yeah, it's not wrong to ask.
I'm not, you're not winning cash for submitting me. You're not going to get ranked up for submitting me. Yeah. So
you're teaching me.
Teach me. Give me a little technique.
Yeah. That's cool that you're humble enough to be like, hey, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I need help here.
I recognize when I'm in a bad position.
Yeah. What the fuck? If there is a way out, you know it, because I can't see it.
In that way, when I get hit with that, or if I get hit with that in real life, I will have the ability to transition and
And that person's probably not going to be a fucking brown belt. They're going to be just some guy on top of you.
Yeah.
Let's say in a bar.
That's wanting to fucking,
and let's say I'm stuck right
punch
here.
your teeth in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or stick their thumb in your eye or some crazy stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And then you come across those guys that are real humble and like real cool about things. You know what I mean? And then you come across those guys that are just full of themselves.
Yeah.
And concerned about their training, and then cool, do your thing.
Yeah. I won't be back.
Do your thing, brother.
You're not my coach.
I hope your gym stays around or you do well.
Yeah. I like that shit about you. You've always been cool that way. Even if you could smash a guy, you'd be like, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. You always take the easier route out, even if you're the one that could.
Yeah. I'm like, one thing I always learned from my first, just from my dad and my sensei, Brandon, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I learned that in different ways. Like I learned it from my martial arts instructor. It was more of just because you can choke someone out or break their arm or submit them or whatever, doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. And
my dad's point of view was just because somebody offers you 12 beers doesn't mean you should drink all 12 beers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Think for yourself.
You always got to be within your perspective.
Yeah. That's deep. I like that.
Yeah.
That should keep you out of a lot of trouble too.
Fuck
yeah.
Sometimes you got to know when enough is enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we learn the hard way.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah, man.
But hey, I appreciate you having me over, brother. Chopping it up.
Thanks for coming, man, and hopefully you're down to come back, be on the show again.
Always, brother.
I know people are gonna like your story and shit. They're gonna be like, "Yo, I want some more of that."
I got plenty more, brother.
All right, cool. Yeah. So tap in the comments, whatever you want to hear and shit, and we'll bring Al back.
Keep medicating.
Yeah, I'm gonna need another one of those.
Keep loving life.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the show, guys. See you. Thanks, dude.
Appreciate you,
You're the man, bro.